Good morning and welcome to Behind the Screen. I am JM, and this is a show where we hang out, we talk about games, board games, card games, role-playing games, games and things of beauty. And today we're finishing off a little bit late. Sorry about that for everybody. The creator jam of Fast Fun Furious February. We're going to get that up on Savage Universe hopefully this week or next week. And so everybody who's participated, we're hopefully going to have a ton of links for you. But we are going over what we called. Where is my notes? I believe we called it. There we go. The Sun Killer and the Star Reaver cult. Good morning, Tink. Good morning, John Doom. Good to see all of you. Before I forget, I have the first of the new Jackals PDFs out, and the second one right now is Children of TM. So this is the link to the... Hey, Ben. That's the link to the first of the Jackals PDFs. The second Jackals PDF is under review right now. I'm hoping to hear back tomorrow. It's already gone out to all of the patrons of Iconic Production. So if you're a current Patreon member at the paying tier or above, you got a free PDF of the Dolphin Priest. So a new ritualist path for the Melkoni, the Greek analog in Jackals. And the Dolphin Priests are essentially priests of Poseidon. So a lot of sea-based magic, water-based magic, and rules for things like drowning and swimming, and new traits for the Melkoni culture. Kind of an all-encompassing little thing. So last week we covered the fluff side of our Sun Killer. That essentially it is a creature that extrudes itself into our dimension from another space, and that it eats suns. It actually comes into existence on the edge of a solar system, its tendrils working its way towards the sun, cutting off hyperspace travel, no FTL travel while this thing is going on. And it consumes the sun, but it actually feeds off the fear and panic and trauma, the psychic trauma of the end of this world. And they are usually preceded by the Star Reaver cult, a group, a death cult that worships this entity and works to summon the Sun Killer whenever it can. Good morning, Padre, as well. So, we are building a gargantuan creature because each one of these tendrils that arrives in the solar system is going to be gargantuan. And essentially, each tendril is, AUs long, astronomical units, the distance between the Earth and the Sun long, as they kind of worm their way, growing more tangible as they get toward the center of the system. And so obviously we want this thing to be tough, so it's going to be unstoppable, can't take more than one wound in a single attack. Vitality, we're going to bump all the way up to a D12 plus 2, which will set our toughness at 30, because D12 plus 2 is 8, 10, and then you add the scale, and if this thing is scale 20, you get plus 20 to the toughness. And we'll give it heavy armor at 10, bringing our total toughness and armor to 30. Cannot be harmed by anything but a heavy weapon. There's a great new ability in the Sci-Fi companion called Swallow Whole, and I kind of see these things, these tendrils ending in sort of these ethereal snake-like mouths that can swallow smaller sized starships whole, which will be just terrifying. And with a strength of D12 plus 20 and giving it the heavy weapon attack, we're going to see that this thing is going to do with its, with its claws, 2d10 plus a d12 plus 20 damage heavy weapon, and at a scale of 4, if you are paying attention to the Sci-Fi Companion, one of the new rules is heavy metal, which just allows us to have different scales of weapons, and depending on the difference in scale is actually how many wounds you inflict when you attack something. That's right, power up the Nova Cannon or the Death Blossom attack. So we have something with, I mean, this thing has 6 wounds, incredibly tough, and at least 3 of these tendrils show up. And I think what I want to focus on, that gives us the basis of our monster. How difficult is it to deal with a tendril? But at the gargantuan scale, the Sun Killer is almost impossible for a group of heroes to interact with. Yes, you'll have starships, and you'll be on, calling for barrages and broadsides from your battleships. Things like the gravity cannon. I think we're going to make it vulnerable to gravity weapons. Because gravity is not a natural law in the universe that it comes with. So using the gravity cannon is found on page 60 of the Sci-Fi Companion, which is a heavy weapon that does 5d12 of the same scale. AP 10. Large blast template. Any target shocked, shaken, or wounded by a gravity cannon is also distracted. Allows us to give the heroes something to aspire to. But the other thing that I think we really want to focus on is this Star Reaver cult. Because the Star Reaver cult is the thing that the players can interact with. So we're going to have this group of cultists that is attempting to do something on the planet. And what I kind of think this would be interesting to do is as a deadly, dramatic task. And maybe don't even tell your players that they're engaged in a dramatic task, but keep track of the dramatic tasks as the adventures are going on. So either you can run this as a dramatic task, hey, you've been sent to this planet to stop the Star Reaver cult, go out and do it. Or you can say, hey, here are the different, same kind of thing, here are the different gates or checkpoints that would allow the player characters to accumulate tokens. The idea being, if they can get enough tokens, the Star Reaver cult does not get to summon as many of the tendrils. So my idea is, Tink, I know you're a moderator on the channel. If you could block that guy, that would be wonderful. Perfect. You are on top of it. Thank you, Tink. Yes, Padre, this feels like a campaign in and of itself. And so the idea being that the Sun Killer will extrude, let's call it 6 tendrils. Each tendril reduces the time necessary to consume a sun by 1 week. So we start at 6 weeks. If all 6 tendrils are summoned, we've got 1 week. All right, so maybe 7 weeks each tendril that is prevented from coming into existence reduces it by 1 week to a minimum of 2. And essentially what we have there is now we have a timer for our dramatic task, and we have a timer for the campaign. Players discover the Sun Killer cult. And maybe that's why we're limiting it to 2, because by the time you know that the Sun Killer cult is on a planet, it is already too late. The Sun Killer will be summoned. But the Star Reaver cult, right, is searching for people of immense psychic potential so they can strap them into these machines and torture them and use the psionic energy to summon the Sun Killer in a very Tharkold-esque sort of Veer crystal kind of methodology. And so, right, every set of tokens equal to the player characters that they get, they manage to stop another one of these psychics from being embedded. And Padre, if we're not doing a dramatic task, right, every adventure that they succeed, we would come up with an arc that is 5 steps long, and say, all right, so every adventure that you succeed at preventing one of these people from being locked in, because once they're locked in, this is ancient technology, no way to know how to stop it. Every psychic that gets locked in is another tendril that gets summoned. So what we essentially have is we have this sort of ramping up. Can the players minimize the danger from the Star Reaver cult until the timeline is triggered, and then it kind of ticks over, and bam, now we have the Sun Killer arriving. And so we're going to also say, right, limits FTL, and of course rooting out the Star Reaver cult could be even longer than a single set of adventures, because yes, that's just what I was thinking, Padre. This is a plot point campaign that we've accidentally stumbled into, but you guys wanted to make a giant planet-eating creature, and gosh darn it, this is what you get when you ask Jam to make a planet-eating creature. So yes, we have a plot point campaign, and Padre, I think that this would also be a great game idea for like Cosmic Crisis for Necessary Evil 3, or, as you were saying, for Fading Suns, another game very, very close to my heart. So, for the Star Reaver cult, I'm not really seeing anything special for them as a group of cultists. You can use the ones out of the core book, out of the horror companion. There's new monsters in the bestiary section of the sci-fi companion. But essentially what you're going to do is you're going to have a set of psychic cultists and a couple of lieutenant wildcards, then obviously the cult leader on this planet side, modified by whatever alien species you want to give them. And the idea is that the players arrive on planet, and their first sign that something has gone wrong is when FTL begins to fade. And we could do concentric rings, essentially, that, once 2 of these psychic torture devices are active, right, say no FTL within 3 AU of the planet, and every additional psychic amplifier that goes online extends that range by 3 AU until essentially the whole solar system you could not achieve FTL within. So that's their first sign that something has gone wrong. FTL stops working. That adventure probably has a bunch of research to discover the existence of the Star Reaver cult as a prominent psychic disappears, and that puts the players on the trail. Maybe the cult attempts to kidnap one of the player characters, and that's what tips them off even more. Then we'll have a couple of plot point campaigns where obviously we're dealing with figuring out what disappearances are linked to the cult, where these are going on, and where these psychic amplifiers are being placed, with the goal of the players trying to stop the amplifiers from being turned on. And then the last while juggling, convincing people that this is a real threat, and getting the Imperial Navy or the Planetary Defense to prepare to deal with these tendrils. And then the last 3 plot points would obviously be dealing with the tendrils, evacuating the planet, or fighting off the space whales that are linked to the Reaver cult, preventing people from actually fleeing the planet. And if I were going to do this, I would probably have those last 3 adventures actually be 6 small adventures, because it would be where are you at, what decisions are you making, and kind of like multiple threads through those last 3 adventures. Is the goal of the players to stop the solar system from being destroyed? Or is the goal of players to evacuate as many people as possible? And that can have a little bit of a linked module there at the end that I think would be a lot of fun. So I'm going to put those notes onto the Sun Killers, and there we go. Rally the Space Navy, Padre, 100%. And then obviously as we build building these space whales, I would, the killer space whales, I would build them in a probably not fighter, like using a template for a starfighter, but something of a light freighter or a light frigate class, so that we could use all of the cool new rules that we have in the Sci-Fi companion, like chases and clash tokens. Where have I heard clash tokens before? And other, a lot of the other new rules, and really show off how cool this would be. But now Padre has me thinking of it as a like a cosmic superhero campaign as well. This one might need to get written up and fleshed out, and maybe put out on drive-through under swag. I like this, guys. So that's it for our fast, fun, furious, frenetic, febrile, feverish, several other F words that I can't use on YouTube, February. Thank you all for participating in this. We're going to be actually off this Thursday. I've got some appointments that I have to get to, but we'll be back next week, and we're going to be doing a review of some new products that I will let Tink know so she can put the materials together. But that's it. Thank you guys all so much. I love doing these monster creation sessions with you guys. I thought this has been... You are all a wealth of creativity, and I love crowdsourcing cool and exciting ideas and building them with you all. So we do have Exploring Glorantha coming up this month. Evan and I are back in the saddle, and I got to record a great interview for Beyond the Table with Stephen Chenault, talking about the OGL crisis and what's coming up for Castles and Crusades. So look for that to go live on our YouTube channel. We're not going to stream it. It's been recorded. It's going to be a little bit edited here in the near future. And I will see you all next Tuesday. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy, stay gaming. I am JM, and this has been Behind the Screen. Actually, Tink, I know what we're talking about next Tuesday. We're actually talking about gaming singularities. I will see you all next week. Until then, have a good one, everybody.